Welcome back, everyone, to another extraordinary journey into the world of gem, where history, myth, and mystery collide in ways few people have ever imagined. Today, we explore 10 gemstones that were once believed to possess supernatural powers. These were not just ornaments. They were trusted as gateways to prophecy, protection, transformation, and even immortality. From stones thought to guard warriors in battle, to gems that shamans used to speak with the spirit world, each carries a legend more powerful than its sparkle. But here's the twist. The gemstone ranked number one in this list is not the one you expect. It doesn't shine like a diamond or burn like a ruby, yet for centuries, entire civilizations placed their fate in its glow. Don't skip this video, because overlooking this final stone could mean missing a truth that once shaped kings, priests, and healers. And even today, it may change how you see the value of gemstones in the future. Suppose this is your first time joining us. Welcome to the world of gem community. Make sure to like this video and subscribe, because every week we bring you hidden stories about the world's most fascinating stones. Stories you won't find in any jewelry catalog or auction headline. Stay with me until the very end, because the story of gemstone number one will not only surprise you, but may also reveal why ancient people trusted it above all others. Jade, the bridge between worlds that promised immortality. Imagine entering an ancient tomb in China, where the body of a king is encased not in gold, but in a suit made of thousands of tiny green tiles, each one stitched with golden thread. This was no ordinary ornament. It was jade, a stone so sacred that it was believed to preserve the soul and carry it safely into eternity. Across continents from Asia to the Americas, jade was not just decoration. It was the bridge between worlds, between life and death, earth and heaven, mortal and divine. And if it surprises you that jade, not diamond, once held this highest honor, leave a comment, because your reflection helps keep alive the legends behind this remarkable gem. Geographically, jade comes in two forms, nephrite and jadeite. Ancient China was dominated by nephrite jade, sourced from Xinjiang and Liaoning, revered for thousands of years in rituals and burials. On the other side of the world, the Maya and Olmec civilizations of Mesoamerica prized jadeite from Guatemala, carving it into sacred masks and ritual objects. Later, Myanmar's vast deposits of jadeite became the world's most celebrated source, producing stones of vivid, almost glowing green. Mining jade in antiquity was a grueling yet deeply ritualistic endeavor. Chinese miners carved it from riverbeds and mountains using stone and bronze tools, treating the act as a sacred duty rather than mere labor. In Mesoamerica, jadeite was so rare and valuable that artisans would treasure even tiny fragments, shaping them into beads offered to the gods. Unlike gems that shone with brilliance, jade's power came from its toughness and its silky glow, a stone that seemed eternal, outlasting flesh and bone. Jade's colors vary from creamy white to lavender, but its most iconic form is a translucent apple green, sometimes so vibrant it seems to hold life itself. Instead of fast setting, ancient artisans polished jade to a smooth finish or carved it into sacred forms. Round discs symbolizing heaven, tube-shaped kong representing earth, or funerary masks meant to guard the soul. The stone was not only worn as jewelry, but shaped into cosmic symbols that connected people to forces beyond the mortal realm. Why does jade hold the 10th spot in our top 10 gemstones believed to hold supernatural powers? Because across cultures, it was seen as the stone of immortality. The Chinese referred to it as the stone of heaven, believing it purified the spirit and preserved the body after death. The Maya placed jade beads in the mouths of the dead, offering breath for the journey to the afterlife. To both East and West, jade was more than a gemstone. It was a vessel of eternal life. Perhaps jade's most significant power lies in this paradox. It is born of the earth's pressure and time, yet believed to open a pathway to the heavens. If you've ever seen or held jade in jewelry, heirlooms, or museum relics, share your impressions in the comments, because your voice helps keep alive the legend of this immortal stone. And before we close, consider this. By the year 2026, could another gemstone rise to surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's continue this conversation not only here on YouTube, but also in gemstone communities on Facebook and Reddit, where the debate about the gemstone of the future is only just beginning. Sapphire, the heavenly flame that guarded kings and prophets. Imagine a gemstone so blue that ancient civilizations believed it was carved from the very fire of heaven. This is sapphire, long revered as the heavenly flame. Kings wore it to legitimize their rule. Priests set it in rings as symbols of divine truth, and mystics believed it could shield the soul from corruption. In a world where lies and treachery could topple kingdoms, sapphire was trusted as the stone that anchored truth. And if it surprises you that sapphire, not diamond, was once the chosen gem of divine power, leave a comment, because your insight helps bring this ancient belief back to life. Geographically, sapphire has sacred roots stretching across the globe. The earliest legendary sapphires came from Sri Lanka, where Ceylon sapphires have been mined for over 2,000 years. In the 19th century, a discovery in Kashmir produced velvety, cornflower blue sapphires, so rare that they became the stuff of myth. Other ancient sources included Myanmar's Mogok Valley and the gravels of Thailand, where sapphires were sifted from riverbeds and traded along Silk Road routes that carried them into royal courts and temples. Mining sapphires in antiquity was both humble and sacred. Unlike jade, which required chiseling mountains, sapphire was often found in alluvial deposits, small crystals revealed after sifting sand and gravel. In Sri Lanka, miners believed rituals and offerings were required before extracting the stones, lest the gods hide their treasures. Once unearthed, sapphire's hardness made it nearly impossible to carve, but when polished or faceted, it blazed with a brilliance that seemed otherworldly. Visually, sapphire's identity is inseparable from its color. Most famously, a deep blue described as the twilight sky just before night. Yet sapphires also appear in pink, yellow, green, and even colorless forms. Ancient jewelers favored cabochons, smooth domes that revealed the star-like glow of rare star sapphires. To rulers and prophets, sapphire's depth symbolized heaven itself, pure, eternal, and incorruptible. Why does sapphire hold the ninth spot in our top 10 gemstones believed to hold supernatural powers? Because across cultures, it was believed to be the stone of divine favor. In ancient Persia, people thought that the entire sky rested upon a colossal sapphire, its reflection giving the heavens their characteristic blue color. In medieval Europe, clergy wore sapphires to resist temptation and symbolize heavenly wisdom. Kings trusted it to protect them from treachery, while oracles believed it opened the mind to prophecy. For millennia, sapphire was not just jewelry, it was a contract with the divine. Perhaps sapphire's most significant legacy lies in this paradox, a gem mined from the earth, yet believed to contain the fire of heaven. If you've ever seen or worn sapphire jewelry in a ring, crown, or museum, share your impressions in the comments because your voice adds to the living story of this celestial stone. And before we close, consider this. By the year 2026, could another gemstone surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's carry this conversation beyond YouTube into gemstone communities on Facebook and Reddit, where debates about the gemstone of the future are only just beginning. Carnelian, the vitality stone, that empowered warriors and priests. Imagine walking through the sands of ancient Egypt, where amulets of fiery orange stone gleamed on the necks of pharaohs and priests. This was carnelian, known as the vitality stone, a gem believed to carry the essence of blood and the rising sun. To warriors, it promised courage. To priests, it offered protection in the afterlife. And to merchants, it symbolized prosperity and good fortune. And if it surprises you that this modest-looking stone once held the power to shape destiny, leave a comment, because your perspective helps bring this forgotten legend to life. Geographically, carnelian has been found in Egypt, India, and Mesopotamia, where it was widely traded through ancient routes. The Indus Valley civilization carved carnelian beads as early as 3000 BCE, while in Egypt it was set into jewelry, sacred amulets, and burial ornaments. Later, the Romans carried it across Europe, cutting it into intaglios for signet rings that sealed contracts with the authority of life itself. Mining carnelian in antiquity was often a spiritual practice as much as labor. Found in riverbeds in volcanic regions, carnelian was collected as pebbles or nodules, then carefully polished to reveal its vibrant hue. Ancient lapidaries heated the stones to deepen their orange-red glow, believing the process awakened the stone's energy. Unlike harder gems, carnelian's relative softness allowed artisans to engrave prayers, protective symbols, and divine names into its surface. What makes carnelian so striking is its color. Ranging from warm, honey yellow to deep blood red, its translucence gives it a glowing, almost living quality. The ancient Egyptians associated it with the blood of Isis and the setting sun, perceiving in it both vitality and protection. Beads, scarabs, and amulets were crafted in abundance, while larger polished pieces were placed with the dead as a guarantee of rebirth and safe passage through the underworld. Why does carnelian hold the 8th spot in our top 10 gemstones believed to hold supernatural powers? Because it symbolized the life force itself. Egyptians placed carnelian in the heart of the Book of the Dead, prescribing it for amulets that ensured strength and protection in the afterlife. In Mesopotamia, it was carried to ward off disease and evil. In Rome, it marked authority, as only those of status could use carnelian seals. Across civilizations, carnelian was not just jewelry. It was a conduit of courage, vitality, and divine blessing. Perhaps carnelian's most significant power lies in its universality. Across continents and millennia, it was trusted to guard life, guide death, and inspire strength. If you've ever seen or worn carnelian jewelry, from a simple bead to an antique seal, share your impressions in the comments because your story continues the legacy of this ancient vitality stone. And before we close, consider this. By the year 2026, could another gemstone rise to surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's keep this discussion alive not only here on YouTube, but also in gemstone groups on Facebook and Reddit, where debates about the gemstone of the future are sparking fascinating conversations. Moldavite, the starborn stone that fell from the sky. Imagine holding a gem that did not come from deep within the earth, but from the very stars above. This is Moldavite, the starborn stone, born from a cataclysmic meteor impact that struck Central Europe nearly 15 million years ago. Unlike other gemstones forged in volcanic fire, Moldavite carries the scars of both heaven and earth, a fusion of cosmic energy and terrestrial matter. And if it surprises you that people once believed this green glass carried messages from the universe itself, leave a comment because your reflection keeps alive the legend of this extraordinary stone. Geographically, Moldavite is found only in a few regions of the Czech Republic, Bohemia, and Moravia, making it one of the rarest collectible stones in the world. Local traditions trace its use back to the Neolithic period, when fragments were shaped into talismans and ritual tools. Archaeological evidence even suggests Moldavite was prized in early Celtic and Germanic cultures, carried as amulets believed to channel protection and higher wisdom. Unlike gems mined from solid rock, Moldavite was unearthed in riverbeds, soils, and sediment layers, deposited far from its point of origin after the meteor impact scattered molten glass across the landscape. Ancient people collected the translucent green shards directly from the Earth's surface, their unusual shapes and textures convincing many that they were gifts from the gods. What makes Moldavite visually unique is its color and form. Typically olive green to forest green, sometimes with a brownish or bottle green tint, Moldavite is marked by natural pitted surfaces and sculpted shapes that no human hand carved. When polished or backlit, it reveals an almost alien glow, translucent, vibrant, and otherworldly. Unlike faceted jewels, Moldavite was often left raw, carried as amulets, or set into ritual objects precisely because of its unearthly look. Why does Moldavite hold the 7th spot in our top 10 gemstones believed to hold supernatural powers? Because it was seen as a direct messenger from the stars. Ancient myths described it as a talisman of transformation, capable of unlocking visions and spiritual awakening. In more recent centuries, mystics in Europe claim Moldavite could connect wearers with higher realms, making it one of the most potent ascension stones. Its rarity and extraterrestrial origin only deepened the belief that it held supernatural energy unlike any other gem on Earth. Moldavite's most significant power lies in this paradox. It is both earthbound and cosmic, a fusion of two worlds. If you've ever held Moldavite or seen its strange, uncut beauty, share your impressions in the comments, because your story adds to the living mystery of this starborn stone. And before we close, consider this. By the year 2026, could another gemstone rise to surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's carry this debate not only here on YouTube, but also into gemstone groups on Facebook and Reddit, where conversations about the gemstone of the future are already sparking new fascination. Alexandrite, the shapeshifter gem that changed with the light. Imagine a gemstone that seems to change its very identity depending on the light. By day, it glows a vibrant green. By night, under lamplight, it turns a deep, mysterious red. This is Alexandrite, the shapeshifter gem, a stone so rare and enigmatic that mystics believed it could reveal the duality of the human soul. To emperors, it symbolized power. To healers, it embodied balance. And to seekers, it was the ultimate stone of transformation. And if it surprises you that one gem could carry two colors and two destinies, leave a comment, because your perspective helps keep the legend alive. Geographically, Alexandrite was first discovered in the Ural Mountains of Russia in the 1830s, during the reign of Tsar Alexander II, after whom it was named. Its uncanny ability to shift colors made it instantly a national treasure, symbolizing Russia's military colors: green by day, red by night. Today, deposits are found in Sri Lanka, Brazil, India, and East Africa, but genuine Russian Alexandrite remains among the rarest and most valuable. Mining Alexandrite has always been challenging due to its rarity. Found in mica schists and pegmatites, the crystals occur only when specific geological conditions align: beryllium, chromium, and aluminum uniting in a perfect storm of mineralogy. Ancient miners and later Russian prospectors uncovered small but dazzling crystals, each one capable of holding two worlds in a single stone. What makes Alexandrite visually mesmerizing is its color change phenomenon. In daylight or fluorescent light, it shines emerald green to bluish green. Under candlelight or incandescent light, it transforms into shades of ruby red or violet. Jewelers often say it carries emerald by day, ruby by night. Most Alexandrites are cut into faceted gems to showcase this shifting magic, though even small stones command incredible value. Why does Alexandrite hold the sixth spot in our top 10 gemstones believed to hold supernatural powers? Because across cultures, it has become a symbol of duality and transformation. Mystics saw it as a symbol of the balance between physical and spiritual worlds. Healers believed it could align the heart and mind, guiding wearers through change. To rulers, its dual colors embodied adaptability and power. Unlike gems tied to a single meaning, Alexandrite's shifting hues made it a stone of mystery, evolution, and hidden truths. Perhaps Alexandrite's most significant legacy lies in its message: nothing is fixed, everything can transform. If you've ever seen an Alexandrite under changing light, share your impressions in the comments, because your story adds to the living mystery of this rare chameleon gem. And before we close, consider this. By the year 2026, could another gemstone surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's carry this conversation beyond YouTube into gemstone communities on Facebook and Reddit, where debates about the gemstone of the future are already sparking fascination. Clear quartz, the amplifier that magnified ancient magic. Imagine a gemstone so common that it can be found on every continent, yet so powerful that nearly every ancient culture considered it sacred. This is clear quartz, the amplifier. A crystal believed to magnify energy, sharpen the mind, and even channel divine messages. From shamanic rituals to medieval healing, quartz was not seen as ordinary rock, but as a universal conductor of life force. And if it surprises you that the most abundant crystal on Earth was once trusted as the most powerful, leave a comment, because your reflection helps keep this legacy alive. Geographically, clear quartz is everywhere, but some of the earliest and most significant sources include Brazil, Madagascar, the Alps, and ancient Egypt. Archaeological finds reveal the presence of quartz tools and ritual objects in the Aboriginal cultures of Australia, Native American traditions, Celtic Europe, and Japanese Shinto practices. It is one of the few stones truly woven into the fabric of humanity's global history. Mining quartz was far less perilous than extracting rubies or sapphires. Ancient people often collected crystals directly from riverbeds, caves, or mountain outcrops. Significant, naturally terminated points, sometimes the size of a human arm, were treasured as sacred gifts of the earth. These crystals were then carved into amulets, wands, or ceremonial objects, many of which have survived in temples and tombs. What makes quartz extraordinary is its visual purity. Clear quartz crystals are transparent to milky white, often featuring perfect hexagonal prisms that appear geometric and almost engineered. When polished, they refract light into rainbow flashes. When left raw, they stand as gleaming natural sculptures. Unlike stones prized for color, quartz's power came from its clarity, believed to symbolize purity of thought and divine connection. Why does quartz hold the fifth spot in our top 10 gemstones believed to hold supernatural powers? Because it was universally believed to amplify, not just energy, but intention. Shamans used quartz points in rituals to focus healing. Medieval healers placed it on wounds to draw out illness. In Japan, quartz spheres symbolized perfection and were used in Shinto purification. Even today, quartz is the heartbeat of modern technology, used in watches and electronics for its ability to regulate energy. Across time, quartz has always been a stone of power, magnifying whatever force it touched. Perhaps quartz's most significant legacy is its dual role, both humble and cosmic. It is as common as sand, yet revered as a channel of the divine. If you've ever held a clear quartz crystal, whether as jewelry, a meditation stone, or simply a piece found on a hike, share your impressions in the comments, because your story continues the global dialogue of this ancient amplifier. And before we close, consider this. By the year 2026, could another gemstone surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's carry this debate not only here on YouTube, but also into gemstone communities on Facebook and Reddit, where the mystery of the gemstone of the future continues to spark imagination. Black obsidian, the mirror of spirits that revealed hidden truths. Imagine staring into a stone so dark and reflective that it seems less like a gem and more like a portal. This is black obsidian, the mirror of spirits, a volcanic glass forged from fire and pressure in the Earth's core. To ancient civilizations, it wasn't just a tool for weapons and blades. It was a supernatural mirror that could reveal hidden truths, communicate with the spirit world, and even guide the soul after death. And if it surprises you that a volcanic glass once carried such mystical weight, leave a comment, because your reflection adds to the living history of this extraordinary stone. Geographically, obsidian is found in regions with volcanic activity, making it widespread yet sacred. Primary sources in antiquity included Mesoamerica, the Mediterranean, and the Near East. The Aztecs and Mayans revered obsidian from Mexico's volcanic fields, while in ancient Greece and Anatolia, it was traded across seas as both a blade and a sacred stone. Even in Neolithic Europe, obsidian was prized as early as 6000 BCE, demonstrating its enduring role in human ritual. Mining obsidian was unlike digging for precious crystals. It required finding and breaking open cooled lava flows where volcanic glass formed in large, jet-black masses. Once extracted, it was chipped into razor-sharp edges for knives and arrowheads. However, some pieces were polished into smooth obsidian mirrors, so flawless that they were reserved for priests, shamans, and rulers seeking visions beyond the mortal realm. Visually, black obsidian is mesmerizing. Jet black with a glassy sheen, It reflects light like a dark pool of water. Some pieces display silver or rainbow sheens caused by trapped gas bubbles, giving them an otherworldly shimmer. Obsidian was rarely faceted. Instead, it was shaped into blades, amulets, and discs. The most famous are obsidian mirrors, used in Mesoamerican temples to channel spirits and in Europe as tools of divination. Why does obsidian hold the fourth spot in our top 10 gemstones believed to hold supernatural powers? Because it was seen as both a weapon and a window. In Aztec ritual, obsidian mirrors were said to reveal the will of gods, such as Tezcatlipoca, the smoking mirror, deity of fate and sorcery. Shamans used obsidian to cut away spiritual illness and to peer into the realms of the dead. In medieval Europe, scryers gazed into polished obsidian to seek visions of the future. Across cultures, this volcanic glass was not only practical, but profoundly mystical. Obsidian's most significant legacy lies in its duality, a stone born of violent eruption, yet revered for its calm surface that reveals what lies beyond human sight. If you've ever seen or touched obsidian, whether a blade, a bead, or a polished mirror, share your impressions in the comments, because your story continues the dialogue with this ancient stone of truth. And before we close, consider this. By the year 2026, could another gemstone surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's carry this discussion not only here on YouTube, but also into gemstone communities on Facebook and Reddit, where debates about the gemstone of the future are sparking new fascination. Labradorite, the shaman stone that captured the northern lights. Imagine holding a stone that flashes with the colors of the northern lights, streaks of blue, green, and gold shimmering beneath its surface, as if the sky itself had been frozen into crystal. This is Labradorite, the shaman stone, long believed to bridge the human world and the spirit realm. To Arctic shamans, it was a talisman of transformation. To healers, it was a shield against dark energies. And if it surprises you that a stone discovered in the cold of Canada was once thought to hold the aurora itself, leave a comment, because your reaction helps keep this ancient belief alive. Geographically, Labradorite takes its name from Labrador, Canada, where Europeans first identified it in the 18th century, though indigenous peoples had valued it long before. Other significant deposits are located in Finland, Madagascar, and Russia. The Inuit people told stories of a warrior striking the stone with his spear, releasing the trapped northern lights back into the sky, a myth that still lingers in Arctic folklore. Mining Labradorite was less about digging deep shafts and more about finding feldspar deposits in igneous rock, where blocks of this shimmering gem could be pried loose. Ancient peoples often collected loose pieces along rocky shores or mountain outcrops. Modern miners extract it in larger slabs, cutting it carefully to reveal its hidden flashes of color, known as labradorescence. What makes Labradorite extraordinary is its visual magic. On the surface, it appears to be an unremarkable gray-green stone. But when moved under light, it bursts into vivid colors: electric blue, golden yellow, emerald green, even violet and copper. This phenomenon, caused by light scattering in its crystal structure, made ancient shamans believe it was alive with spiritual fire. Most Labradorite is polished into cabochons to showcase these flashes, though some large pieces are carved into ritual objects or talismans. Why does Labradorite hold the third spot in our top 10 gemstones believed to hold supernatural powers? Because across cultures, it was seen as a stone of transformation and protection. Shamans in the Arctic carried it to guide visions and connect with the unseen. In modern mystical traditions, it is said to awaken intuition, guard the aura, and open pathways between worlds. Unlike gems tied only to wealth or beauty, Labradorite was consistently valued for its mystical role, a key to realms beyond human sight. Perhaps Labradorite's most significant legacy lies in its duality, dull in shadow, radiant in light, reminding us that power is often hidden until it is revealed. If you've ever seen Labradorite flash in your hand, share your impressions in the comments, because your story adds to the living memory of the stone of shamans and seers. And before we close, consider this. By the year 2026, Could another gemstone surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's carry this debate beyond YouTube into gemstone communities on Facebook and Reddit, where conversations about the gemstone of the future continue to spark wonder and imagination. Opal, the gem of 1,000 eyes that carried magic and fear. Imagine a stone that doesn't just shine with one color, but flashes with an entire spectrum. Fiery reds, electric greens, deep blues, and golden yellows, all dancing within a single gem. This is opal, the gem of 1,000 eyes, revered and feared for centuries as a stone of immense supernatural power. To some, it was a talisman of prophecy and invisibility. To others, it was cursed, a jewel too powerful for mortals to control. And if it surprises you that opals once inspired equal measures of awe and terror, please leave a comment. Your perspective helps keep this fascinating legend alive. Geographically, opal's most celebrated sources are in Australia, which today produces over 90% of the world's supply. But in antiquity, opal was known from Hungary, Ethiopia, and the Roman Empire, where it was traded along networks that carried it into the crowns of emperors and the hands of mystics. The Romans considered it second only to emerald in value, calling it a stone that contained the colors of every other gem. Mining opal in ancient times was a blend of labor and luck. Because it formed in silica-rich deposits, often near volcanic ash or sedimentary rock, miners searched for veins of hydrated silica where flashes of color could be seen in broken stone. In Hungary, opal was pried from mountain cavities, while in Ethiopia it was gathered from highland deposits. Each piece uncovered was more than a gem. It was considered a fragment of a rainbow, solidified in stone. Visually, opal is unlike any other gemstone. It can appear milky white, fiery red, or black with vibrant flashes, known as play of color. Under shifting light, its surface reveals patterns that seem alive, constantly changing as if the stone itself were watching the world with 1,000 eyes. Ancient jewelers polished opals into cabochons or set them into rings and amulets, convinced that their shifting hues reflected the mysteries of fate. Why does opal hold the second spot in our top 10 gemstones, believed to hold supernatural powers? Because it was seen as both a blessing and a curse. In ancient Rome, it was called opalus, the precious stone, believed to grant foresight and protection. In the Middle Ages, it was associated with invisibility, worn by thieves and sorcerers who thought it could conceal their movements. Yet by the 19th century, opal gained a reputation for misfortune, a gem said to bring ruin to those unworthy of its power. This duality between sacred and cursed made opal one of the most feared and mystical gems in history. Perhaps opal's most significant legacy lies in its unpredictability, dazzling with every color, yet carrying an aura of danger. If you've ever seen opal flash in your hand, share your impressions in the comments, because your story adds to the living mystery of this gem of light and shadow. And before we close, consider this. By the year 2026, could another gemstone surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's take this debate beyond YouTube into gemstone communities on Facebook and Reddit, where conversations about the gemstone of the future are sparking new intrigue. Moonstone, the stone of prophecy that guided dreams and destinies. Imagine a gem that glows as if lit from within, a stone that seems to hold the light of the full moon in its depths. This is Moonstone, long revered as the stone of prophecy. To ancient cultures, Moonstone was not just beautiful, it was mystical, a gem believed to open the mind to visions, guide dreams, and reveal the hidden paths of destiny. And if it surprises you that this shimmering stone once stood as the greatest of all prophetic talismans, leave a comment, because your thoughts add new light to its timeless story. Geographically, Moonstone has been discovered in many parts of the world, with some of the most significant ancient sources in India and Sri Lanka. Indian mystics considered it sacred to the moon god Chandra, using it in divination and rituals of love. In Rome, Moonstone was believed to form from solidified moonlight. In more recent centuries, it was mined in Myanmar, Madagascar, and the European Alps. Each culture added new layers of meaning to this already luminous gem. Mining moonstone in antiquity was often done in riverbeds or shallow quarries where feldspar deposits could be found. Unlike diamonds or rubies, moonstone revealed itself in smooth, opaque crystals that artisans polished into cabochons. The true magic was unlocked when light struck its surface, revealing a dual essence, a soft, floating glow that seemed to move like moonlight across water. Ancient people saw this shimmer not as physics, but as prophecy. Visually, moonstone is entrancing. Its most iconic form is milky white or bluish, with an inner glow that shifts with movement. Some specimens display rainbow flashes, making them seem alive under light. Jewelers rarely facetted moonstone in ancient times, preferring to polish it into rounded cabochons that highlighted its mysterious sheen. Set in rings, pendants, and ritual objects, it became a symbol of guidance, purity, and the mysteries of the night. Why does moonstone hold the first spot in our top 10 gemstones, believed to hold supernatural powers? Because it was universally seen as a gem of foresight and divine connection. In India, it was placed under pillows to bring prophetic dreams. In Rome, it was linked to the goddess Diana, protector of travelers and lovers. In medieval Europe, moonstone was worn during the waxing moon to align the soul with the rhythms of nature. Across continents, it was consistently tied to prophecy, intuition, and the hidden wisdom of the night. Perhaps moonstone's most significant legacy lies in its symbolism, a stone that is never fixed, constantly shifting with the light, just like fate itself. If you've ever held a moonstone and seen its glow move beneath the surface, share your impressions in the comments, because your story continues the dialogue of this prophetic stone. And before we close this journey, consider this. By the year 2026, could another gemstone rise to surpass even the diamond as the ultimate symbol of value and power? Let's continue this conversation here on YouTube and extend it into gemstone communities on Facebook and Reddit, where debates about the gemstone of the future are already sparking imagination. And that concludes our journey through the top 10 gemstones believed to hold supernatural powers. From Jade, the bridge to immortality, to Moonstone, the stone of prophecy, these gems remind us that long before science, people placed their trust in the Earth's hidden powers. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Every like, every comment, and every share keep this community alive. And your support truly gives me the motivation to keep creating more stories like this. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to World of Gem. It's the easiest way to ensure you never miss an episode and help us continue uncovering the forgotten legends behind the world's most fascinating stones. In our next episode, we'll take this journey even further, into the realm of mystical gem hunts and forgotten rituals, where stones weren't just treasures, but keys to secrets hidden for centuries. Until then, stay curious, share your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next adventure into the world of Gem.